Welcome back. So we have done one video about active and passive voice to change from active to passive voice. Now in this coming video, okay, again we will learn, okay, the change of voice from active to passive voice. But we have to keep in mind what type of rule, not the basic rule anymore, but the special rule, okay. When we say special, it means additional, okay, of all the tenses there. We will learn about the additional rule, okay, the specific rule, the special rule. Okay, let's do it. Okay, for auxiliary modals. When we say auxiliary, you know what is auxiliary? We have the auxiliary verb, right? We have auxiliary verb like what? Like the helping verb, no? The verb to be, like am, is, are, was, were. Those are all what? Auxiliary verbs. Just like we have auxiliary verbs, so we have also the auxiliary modals. Okay, if you remember, okay, these modals are a type of a verb only, okay, and they are like what? Can, could, should, may, might, would, okay, etc. There are many models, but we will take what type of models? The auxiliary models. Okay, listen carefully, students, because these from this part onwards we don't do them in the classes. Okay, this is very new to you, so listen carefully. So we change the form of the voice from active to passive. Okay, when you have these words, okay, can, could, should, in the sentence, when you change them from active to passive, what you should put? Be, okay, this word be, you have to put them in the past, in the passive form of the sentence along with the past participle. That also not after the past participle, but before it. Okay, before the past participle. Let us see the examples. They should make tea. Okay, they should make tea. This is an active voice. Now, they is what? Subject. Should is what? Auxiliary modals. Then make tea is what? Object, right? Especially the tea. So, do we talk about any tea? No, we talk about one specific tea. Okay, kalau kerpang kata ko dengan specific, dengan particular. No, that's why we put here the. Okay, the. That's why we put here the. The tea should. Okay, should. We put the verb be, be made by them. Now check the spelling of the verb here, make. Here M-A-K-E and here M-A-D-E. Don't be confused. This is just the first form and this is the third form. This is verb P1, verb V3. Okay, that is this is the present form and then this is the past participle. Okay, they should make tea. The tea should be made. This is make. This is made by them. By is a preposition we have learned from the basic rule, and then them is what? When we change they, okay, active voice in the passive voice change to them. So the tea should be made by them. One more example. She can do this. She can do this. What models? Can't. So this can be done by her. Do, past participle of do is done. So these can be done by her. But, okay, but there is exception here, see. But for perfect infinitive, okay, we have done infinitive, right? Infinitive, present infinite, present infinite, etc. Okay, we have done. So, but for that sentence where there is perfect infinitive, use been before the passive perfect infinitive. Okay, this one you'll see with example. See, you could have written the letter. Models could. Huh? But here, do you see here before the passive perfect infinitive? Now this verb writ, written, okay, it's already in past participle form. No? That's why it is in perfect. That's why we say perfect infinitive. This is what? Perfect infinitive. Have written. Okay, have in the sentence you am have written. Man am have written ini jemun. Kani the sentence the man work perfect infinitive. Okay, have written. So, but for perfect infinitive, okay, what do we use here? Been. Here we use what? Be, no? But here we use what? Been. So, the man perfect form, okay? That's why we have to put here been. Okay, this is very important. Very, very important. This is exception. No? So, before the passive perfect infinitive, okay? This is the passive perfect infinitive written. Okay, that's why I have to put for it been. So you could have written the letter. The letter could have been written by you. Okay, suppose the letter could have been written by you if you don't go to the market. No? So in that case, okay, in that case we can use that sentences. Okay, let's come next. Interrogative sentences. Okay, this is very, very, very important. Interrogative sentences mostly it used to come. Okay, so you have to be very clear with the interrogative sentence. But for interrogative sentence, there are two more here. When we say interrogative sentence, we know that it is a sentence which asks question, right? And it ends with what? With question mark. But here in the voices, when we have to convert them from active to passive or from passive to active, we will have two types of sentences. See, for interrogative sentences, where the answer to the question is yes or no. Example, okay, there are sometimes, someone will ask you questions, where you have to give answer yes or no. If I ask you, do you finish your homework? Suppose I use do. Do you finish your homework? What you will answer? You answer either yes or no, no? Yes, I have finished. Yes, I don't. No, I don't. No, I haven't. Okay. So for such interrogative sentences, where the answer to the question is either yes or no, okay, yes or no only. So the following step must be followed to convert them to passive form. Okay, let's see. Because interrogative sentences where you need to answer only yes or no, okay, either yes or no, then continue the sentences. It can start with do, it can be can, could, may, etc. Suppose I'll take do. Do you finish your homework? How you answer? No, I haven't. Or yes, I have. Okay, so either yes or either no. So when you change such sentences, okay, interrogative sentence, you have to consider these rules in mind, okay, these steps. So that sentence in the active form, it is in interrogative sentence, but you have to change it first to what? Assertive, okay. Then change that assertive into its passive. Okay, I'm afraid that maybe I just explained to you assertive, but you can understand the meaning of assertive. You remember before starting our classes, before taking our class, I have explained to you the types of sentences, right? So what is assertive sentence? It is a type of sentence, right? Either we used to say declarative or assertive sentence. Now these are the assertive sentence. It is just a simple sentence where we used to declare a statement, We mentioned about a statement, a feeling, an opinion, an instant, an event, etc. Okay. It's a simple sentence and it can either be affirmative or negative. Okay, that means positive or negative. And it always ends with what? With question mark. Sorry, with full stop. Okay, with full stop it ends. So to convert such interrogative sentence in the passive form, We have to change that sentence into assertive. That is one question mark we have to put now. Full stop. Then change that assertive into its passive. You can do directly, but this is the step. Okay, actually we did like this only stepwise. Okay, and then step 3, we change that passive form again into an interrogative sentence. Okay, we change it again into interrogative sentence. But we have to note that do, does, and did are never used in passive voice. I have shown to you in the previous video that in a table, no, where when we have the word do, does, did, don't mention them in the passive voice. We have to use the auxiliary verb, the verb to be, instead of putting do, does, did in the passive. Okay, don't put do, does, did. We have to put the verb to be. For example, see here. Suppose you have this sentence. Okay, does she writes a letter? Does she writes a letter? Okay, does she writes a letter? Step 1. Change the sentence into assertive form. She writes a letter. We remove this word here, does. If we remove the word here, it is a verb only. Does not become a statement now. This question mark is no more there. She writes a letter. Now change that assertive into its passive. A letter is written by her. Is because present, okay, is written by her. Now in the step 3, what we have to do? We change that passive form into an interrogative form. So, is a letter written by her? This word here, okay, is. Okay, change comes here. Is a letter written by her? So, if you have in the question, this one, does she write a letter? When you change it to the passive form, is a letter written by her? Okay. Does she write a letter? Is a letter written by her? Okay, this one no need. Okay, to write in your exam. Just that I've shown you the steps here, how to convert it to get the last step. Okay, so let us come next. Okay. Now for the second sentences, okay, interrogative sentences, where the answer to the question is not yes or no. Okay, what we have to do. Suppose you have a sentence where it starts with where, with why, with what. Okay, where, why, what, etc. The question word will not undergo any change. That means if you have where in the active voice, in the active form, in the passive form also there. Why also? Why? What also? What? Okay. But except who. When you have the word who in the active form, when you change it in the passive form, you have to change that who to where? To what? By whom. So who will change to by whom? Whereas where and why remains the same in the passive form. Let's see the example. Okay. Why do you write a letter? Okay, we'll use the same sentence, but we'll just convert it. Why do you write a letter? Why do you write a letter? See? When you change it to passive form, why is still there? Why? Now we take this object here, a letter. Write changes to written. We put the preposition by. Okay? Then we put you. This subject becomes the object now. Okay? Why a letter written by you? Okay, let's see the second sentence. Who has done this? Okay, first we take from here. Now we'll take from your except. We put here do. Oh, sorry, who? Who has done this? You have to start the sentence by what? By. Okay, by whom has this been done? Okay, by whom has this been done? But we have to put here extra been. Why we put here been? Actually, what you need to remember is just that when you have who, you have to change it to whom, okay, in the passive form. But why we put here being? Because this sentence is in what form of the sentence? In perfect. Perfect. What perfect? Present, past, or future? In present perfect. So sentences which is in present perfect, when you change it to passive form, what you have to put here extra? Being. Okay, and that's why I told you this is just a special rule. You have to learn first from the basic rule. See, here for this rule here, you have to add the basic rule which you have learned along with the special rule here. Okay, so by whom has this been done? These are all for converting interrogative sentence. Now let us come imperative sentences. Okay, what is imperative sentences? We have done assertive, interrogative, now imperative. Imperative sentences are those sentences which expresses what? A wish, a command, a request, etc. Okay, such sentences are called what? Imperative sentences. But remember, you have to put the word let is placed at the beginning in the passive sentences, followed by the subject, then accompanied by being. Okay? See here. Post this letter. This is what? Assertive form. Okay? What sentence? Imperative sentence. Why we say imperative sentences? Because post this letter. It commands, no? It commands. Post is infinitive. When we say infinitive, what is there? To. To sentences. Okay? After you find to. So if the verb in the active, okay, is in the infinitive form. Okay, that means in that sentence, what is there? To, okay, of the infinitive is retained and be is added to the to. That means in a sentence where there is already to, when you change it to passive form, don't take away that to. But what you have to do, you have to add extra along with it. What? Be. You have to add be, okay, together with that word to. Okay, example. I have to do this. Okay, you have to do that. Okay, something. So I have to do this. See, this word here, to, is already there in the active voice. Okay, in the active form of the sentence. To. And this do here, it is the verb. Okay. So you have to change this do, okay, to the past participle, to the third form. This is in first form. Okay, B1. This is in first form. So when you change to the past participle, sorry, in the passive form, so this object will become the subject here. So here we use what pronoun here? I. That's why we have to put have. Okay. So here this. So this one has to put what? Has. Okay. We cannot put have here. Okay. Because this is this here. Now this has to be done by me. This has to. And then we put extra what? Be. This has to be done by me. Okay. Sentences where there is to. We say it infinitive. Okay. So I hope it is clear. Now let's see the next point. Sentences beginning with it. Now this sentence here, does it begin with it? No, it starts with the pronoun I. Okay. So if you have sentences starting with it in the active, in the passive form, it has to be followed by for. F-O-R. If you have a sentence which has it in it, when you change it to passive form, you have to put what? For. F-O-R. For. Then comes the verb to. You have to put to. Because in that sentence, even though it is there, to is also there. Okay. Then comes what? Be. Then comes the past participle. That is very long, right? Let's see examples. It is time to speak the truth. Okay. It is time. See. It is time to speak the truth. To is there, no? Because such sentences will always have what? To. But we start with what? With it. It is time to speak the truth. When you change it in passive form, it is time. It means for the truth. Now this object here we put it down here. It is time for the truth to be spoken. Speak changes to the third form, spoken. Okay. It is time for the truth to be spoken. Is it clear now? See? If you have a sentence which is in infinitive, okay, you have this word to here, you have to put along with it be, okay, to be. But if you have a sentence starting with it and it has also this word to, you have to put first word for. Then comes the object, okay. Then comes the object, then comes the verb to be, okay, the verb to be, and then comes the past participle spoken. It is time for the truth to be spoken. So this is for infinitive. Let's see next. Two objects of the verb. Okay. Some verbs have two objects. Okay. In a sentence, you'll find verbs. Okay. They have two objects. So this is what? This is a verb. Sent. Okay. Now this sent, it carries with it two objects. Haganiko verb in this sense, an object. Manukip ko ataliki object. Suppose if I say John sent him, it is correct. We have an object here, okay? John sent him a bracelet. Correct, no? If I just say John sent a bracelet, that sentence is also correct because you have two objects. It can stand alone, either this John sent him or John sent a bracelet. So such verbs where you will have such sentences where the verb has two objects, what we have to do? Make one of the object as a main object. Don't take both the object. Just take one object only. Okay? Just take one object at a time. Because when you have to convert this sentence, which is an active form, if you have to change into passive form, if you take the two objects, you cannot change them to passive form. You have to take this one and leave this one, or take this one and then leave this one. You have to write them, but you will see how. Okay. Then change only the main object while the other one remains unchanged. 2 or 4 may be added to the unchanged object. Okay. Suppose if you take him and bracelet is not the main object, you have to add what? 2 or 4. Example. John sent him a bracelet. Suppose I take here first this object here, him, okay? Okay, so I can take it as, I can change it as a bracelet. Oh, no, sorry. I take first the object, bracelet, okay? So I stress on this object, bracelet. I take this as the main object. A bracelet was sent to him by John. Now, next, if I take this him as the main object here, so as you know, him will change this to he, no? Because we have to interchange the object, the voice. So he was sent a bracelet by John. He was sent a bracelet by John. This is, we have to change he to him or either him to him. Okay, so him is already there, so I'll change it to he. I put here, he was sent a bracelet. Okay, he was sent a bracelet by John. Okay, so this is the way to convert a sentence from active to passive if you have two objects of the verb. Okay, right here, John sent him a bracelet. Him is also an object because John is subject, send is verb, him is object, bracelet also object. Okay, now intransitive verb. Now what is this intransitive verb? Actually, only transitive verb can be changed into passive voice. Let us see the intransitive verb. Now, what is this intransitive verb? If you remember, there are transitive and intransitive verb. Okay, if you are clear with grammar, actually, the verbs, there are many forms. We can categorize them in many ways. Okay, one of the ways we categorize them as transitive and intransitive verb. So only transitive verb we can change into passive voice. Actually, one make them difference also is this main point. Okay, only transitive verbs and we change into passive voice. Those verbs, okay, where the action flows from the subject to the object. That means it is able to carry that verb, is able to carry that action from the subject to the object. That is called what? Transitive verb. Intransitive verbs are those verbs where it cannot carry to the object. Okay, the meaning of that action word. So such verbs, okay, intransitive verb, they cannot be changed into passive. But there is exception. Okay, intransitive verbs can be changed to passive only if there are words that can act as objects. If there is words, okay, that can act as object, because there it cannot, because intransitive verb, the intransitive verbs in the sentence, the action cannot be carried to the object, no, but only if there are something extra words that can describe the object. Sorry, that can act as an object. Example here, she sang a sweet song. Okay, she sang a sweet song. Now this is active voice. If you change it into passive voice, a sweet song was sung by her. Okay, a sweet song was sung by her. Now she sang a sweet song. What is the object here? A sweet song. Sorry, sweet song. This act as an object. Okay, act as an object. So she sang. If I say she sang, it becomes what? Intransitive verb. That means the action here, it remains in the subject only. It does not carry to the object. But because we have this word, extra word here, she sang a sweet song. So this verb sang, the action of this verb sang is being able to carry to the object. She sang a sweet song. So when we change it into the passive form, a sweet song was sung by her. Okay, a sweet song was sung by her. Okay, this is what? Intransitive verb. I hope you are clear. Let us see the next sentence. He looked at me. He is subject. Looked is a verb. If I just say he looked. He looked. Suppose I tell to my friend, see, he looked. It is complete, okay? But here we have addition of extra word here, which act as an object, okay? He looked at me, okay? Where? At me, okay? If I just say he looked, my friend will understand only. But I want to add extra object here, okay? He looked at me, okay? So when I change it into passive form, so this me changes to I, right? I was looked at by him. I was looked at by him. Okay? Me changes to I, he changes to him. Okay? He looked at me, I was looked at by him. So this is in case of what? Intransitive verb. Let us come to the next, which is the negative sentences. Now, for this negative sentence, obviously you understand that what is there? Either not is there, no? Not or no. Okay. So the same rule will apply. The basic rule, the special rule, the same rule will apply. But what you'll find extra in such sentences, it can be negative assertive, it can be negative interrogative, negative imperative. Okay. But what is there? Not is there. Example, I have not write the letter. Let's take the same example. I have not write a letter. There is no more S no here. Why? Because we use the plural here. I, the first person. Okay. I have not write a letter. The letter have not been written by me. Why we put be in here? Because this sentence is perfect, in perfect form, and that also in present perfect. Okay, that is the basic rule. Present perfect. That's why I have to put here what? Been. The letter have not been written by me. Okay, what is just extra here? You have to put here not. The letter have been written by me. No, previous examples we did. If I have here, I have write the letter. If I change it to passive, I will change it. The letter have been written by me. If I had then, but then here I have not. So just put here not. And here again, not will come in the passive form. So the letter have not been written by me. So let us come next, which is thank you. So with this, we completed the conversion of voices from active to passive. You have to learn what? The basic rules for the conversion in relating with tenses, in relating with pronouns. You have to keep in mind. Okay. And then we have to learn also the special rules for interrogative sentence how, imperative sentence how. Okay, those are the special rules. Okay, even for sentences where two verb or two objects are there. Okay, sentences where we'll find the infinitive to. Okay, and so how we will change them from active to passive. We have to keep in mind the basic rule and then the special rule. So with these, let us end this video. Thank you, and we'll see in the next part of it. Okay, so for the next video, we will be doing conversion from passive to active. We have done so far active to passive. Now, left is from passive to active. Thank you.